Well, the race to become the next Prime Minister just got interesting. Just as this show came on air at 4 o'clock, Liz Truss issued a statement. It was about tax reform. No, please don't switch off. Behind the accountancy speak sits an idea as radical as any we've seen, potentially, in recent years. If her proposal becomes more than just a plan, if she becomes the next Tory leader and the Truss plan is implemented, then the impact will be felt really by all of us. The change that profound, even revolutionary. So what then is this plan? It's a bit technical, but bear with. Let me start with a personal example. Like many millions of Britons, I was once an expat. The foreign country I was posted to did what the vast majority of developed nations do when it comes to tax. I wasn't taxed as an individual. Instead, what I paid in taxes was based on the household I belonged to. Well, why does that matter? Well, if you think about it, it's simple. Back then, my household included me, I was working, and my late wife, who stopped work to bring up our then small children. The foreign taxman looked at everything my family earned and taxed us on that basis. When we returned to England, the British taxman ignored that I had a family, that I had a non-working spouse, and taxed me as an individual again. Now, there'll be those, I'm thinking in particular of campaigners for the interests of single parents, who think the British system, rather than the one operated in most of the rest of the world, is fairest. I have to tell you, as a single parent myself, I think treating us all as individuals rather than households is a slow-motion societal car crash. Why? It penalises couples and stay-at-home parents. It makes marriage something only the well-off can afford. And by financially penalising couples, it's added to child poverty by creating a culture of fatherlessness. As one of my recent guests said, there are whole council estates virtually in Britain which are, as he put it, dad deserts. From gangs to grooming, the effects are ruinous and traumatic. Now, that might all seem a long way from discussions about tax, but actually they're umbilically linked. When I lived abroad, because we were taxed as a household, my late wife kept her tax-free allowance. My wage was taxed as joint income. The effect was that I paid less tax. We kept more of our money as a family, and the state effectively recognised that what my late wife was doing, raising kids, had some value, and it does. Imagine if we paid all those unpaired carers, not just parents, for the work they do, caring for kids, yes, but caring for a disabled spouse, disabled adults, elder care, caring for old folk. The bill for the state, if we paid for that out of taxes, would be colossal. Instead, by taxing individuals, we pass that burden onto couples. Many couples can't cope or never form in the first place, hence the aforementioned dad deserts. If Liz Truss is serious, and there's no reason to think she isn't, her plan would change this. It will lead to howls of protest from those who say the state has no right to socially engineer family units. Of course, that's exactly what's been happening for decades. We've created a tax and benefit system that draws no distinction between a single person and a household. By doing that, we've incentivised single parenthood and created a culture where fathers are pretty thin on the ground in certain places, or couples can't have the families that they want to have. Make this happen, Liz Truss, and Britain will begin to turn a corner.